Hello and welcome to Excel Tip 0. So we're going to just do some little basic things in Excel for this one. First off, Excel is a spreadsheet program and you can type in any cell. So I'm going to start, and cells are labeled by A1, B1, B2. So this would be cell G3. So I'll start typing in cell G3. So the nice part about Excel is that you can easily move from cell to cell. If we want to go right, we hit Tab, and that's what I'm doing right now. And if we want to go down, we hit Enter. And usually, like you just saw, Enter will take you below, after you do a bunch of tabs, Enter will take you below where you started. If you just click somewhere and hit Enter, so for example, I click over here, Enter will take you to the cell below. So let's put a few more text boxes in here. Okay, so now we have that. So what if I wanted to put something else in between hello there and in between how and are? There's a couple ways to do this. So let's say I just want to do in between hello there. I right click and I hit insert. So this gives me a couple options. I can shift cells down, shift cells right, or insert an entire row or entire column. Let's first shift cells right and see what happens. So that just puts another cell in here and doesn't shift anything else. So let's go back and do the same thing. But let's see what happens when we shift cells down. So you can see. So that's how you insert a cell. We can also insert more than one cell at a time. So if we insert like this, and we shift cells down, you can see it inserted 3 cells there, and shift those down by 3. So that's great, but the other thing we might want to do is insert an entire row or entire column. So what this is going to do, if you insert an entire row, it'll actually insert a row above where you are. And the column will insert a column to the left of where you are. Okay, so we can sort of see how that works. Another way to do this, inserting rows and columns, is to click on the H or the numbers on the left if you want to do a row and hit insert, like so. Okay, so that's how to insert to insert rows and columns. So the other way you can do it is maybe I want to delete this one. So maybe I couldn't do the undo button like I've done before. So if I want to delete row 4, I just right click and hit delete. Okay, so it's a little bit different to delete a cell though. So same thing with the column, I'll do that first. So we can delete the contents of a cell, and that's what I just did here by hitting the delete button. But what if we want to delete the cell so everything shifts? Same thing before, we just hit delete, and we get the same sort of options here. So you can sort of see how this works. Okay, so now we may want to cut and copy some things. So let's say we want to copy this whole thing. We select it by clicking in the middle and dragging. And I usually do Control C, which is copy, and Control V, which is paste. And you can sort of see the thing that's copied has these little squiggly lines around it. So now let's try something else. Let's try to do this, but then we can also right click and hit copy. And then hit paste again. Or I can right click and hit paste. Okay, so that's sort of how to copy and paste. We could also, if sometimes we want to copy and paste a whole column. So maybe we want to copy and paste this whole column. So let's copy it. And then what I do to paste it is, I can do a couple things. If I want to insert it, maybe I want to insert it in between these 2 rows, then I can go, just like I'm going to do an insert, but see how it says insert copied cells? Then it'll go right in there. Or I could also just select a column where I want to put it and hit paste again. So that was, again, Control V is paste. Good, so now we sort of have an idea of what to do now. Now, what if I type something in that's long, like hello, how are you, in the same cell? And let's do it grammatically correct. and then I want to type the answer in the next cell. You see that we get cut off here. So there's a couple of different ways we can do this, but I'm going to show you how to correct this problem by making the column bigger. So you can see I made the column bigger by clicking up here and dragging. The other thing I could do is if I go to column width, I could just type in the width. So a smaller width of 8 gives me a small column, and a bigger width of 20 gives me a bigger one. The other thing with column width is maybe I want all the columns to be the same. Maybe I want all the columns to be 20. So I go into column width and type in 20, and it gives me all the columns of the same thing. And we can do the same thing with rows. So again, we can click and drag, and we can go to row height. Right now it's 60, so let's just make it 6, say. And you can see that sort of cuts it off because it's smaller than we want to do. So there you go. So that's sort of the sizing of the rows and columns. And that's how to manipulate some of the sheet in Excel. Thank you for watching. So in this Excel tip video, we're going to cover the font tab up here and what all of these do. So let's go ahead and just type in some dummy text so that way we can mess with this. So this changes the actual font style, so we'll make dummy a little bit weird style, the Algerian style. And this changes the size. It's similar to Microsoft Word or something else that you can use. Okay, you can also change the size by using these two keys over here. And you can see it changes the number there. Then we have the normal bold, italicize, and underline options. And then we have draw border, and I'll get to that one last. And we also have the fill color. So if we want to fill the background color of our cell somehow, we can do that with this. We'll keep it as this yellow color. And then if we want to change the text color, we can do that here. So make sure when you do this that you choose a good text color and good fill color if you're doing this that anyone can read easily. So I wouldn't suggest this green yellow. It sort of looks a little strange. Okay, so that's most of those things. The other thing you can always do is if you want some more advanced options, you can always use this little tab here. So this is going to bring up the settings, and you can do a few more things with these settings than your quick things there, like a superscript or a subscript or strike through, things like that. And all these styles and font are there. You can also go back to normal font, so that way, if you made a mistake and want to go back to the normal one, you can do that. So we see how this is normal now. Okay, so the other thing is with this is there's a bunch of different borders. So we can make a bottom border, and you can see the border exists there. And then same thing with top border, left border, right border. All of these are, and all borders just fills in borders all around the cell. But the nice part about borders is that we can do a few different things for that. You can do a thick box around the whole thing, so that thick box will be, maybe you are highlighting a table or something. That thick box border will give you a thick line around the whole thing. The other option with borders is that you can always draw the border. So drawing a border, if you draw it, that's going to, I'm just clicking here to draw wherever I want. So maybe I don't want all the borders to show up, and maybe I want to do this quickly instead of selecting each cell and trying to do it. Or we can select a bunch of cells, and that's what drawing the border is going to do in selecting a bunch of cells. Drawing a border grid is going to do the same thing, except it's going to put all the grid in the middle. So we can always erase the border, and we can change the border style. So if maybe I want a red border for some reason, and then a grid, I can do that. I can also go to line style, and maybe I want a small one of these lines for my border, so I can do that. So there's lots of different things we can do with the border. And that is just a short introduction to what we can do with the font tools. Thanks for watching. So this video will focus on the Alignment tab. So the Alignment tab can do a couple different things, and it's actually relatively easy to use. So let's first type some dummy text as we do. Okay, so you see we just have some text here. So Alignment tab does a couple different things. So it can, these three go top, bottom, or middle of the cell. Since this cell isn't very big, we can make it bigger to show what this effect has. So that aligns top, middle, bottom, as you can see. These align left, right, or center. And again, it's not really easy to see, so we'll make the column a little bit bigger. So left, right, center. I tend to think it looks nicest with both middle justification, but it's sort of your own preference. Okay, so then we have this. So these are some ways you can angle text. So I don't usually use this too much, but you can see how it works. So, you know. And again, you can always go into this alignment thing if you want to. So we're going to go back and angle this at 0 degrees. Okay, perfect. So now we have something called wrap text. So wrap text is really important because it really helps you allow to do other things. So let's just type in something long, like this is an example of a long cell. Okay, so that's great. So it shows up there, but it's taking up multiple cells. So let's just type example 2 in this cell and see what happens. So now this cell is cut off. So a lot of times though, you don't want your cells to be cut off like this because it makes it much less readable. So let's go ahead and hit this button called wrap text. So wrap text makes it so that you can see all the text in a cell. And sometimes you might need to make the cell a little bit bigger to see everything nicely. Okay, so that's one thing that wrap text does. Now the other thing you could have done is let's do a couple of undos here, and we'll get rid of example 2. So maybe we want this just to be a big cell, because maybe there's a bunch of data down here and we don't want to, and we just want this to be one big cell that's like a title for all that data. So instead of doing wrap text, which is pretty bad, or instead of letting this run into other cells, what we can do is go ahead and select the cells we want and do merge and center. So this is this can be like a title. And again, I like it looks like that. So that's what merge and center does. You can also do things like merge across, which doesn't center it, or just merge cells, which does that too. And then you can also unmerge cells to get back to where you were in the beginning. So that's all an example of the common uses of the alignment tab. As always, you can use this little button down here to see some more intense settings under alignment. Okay, that's all for this video. Thank you for watching.